energy equals mass, matter, and matter equals energy. E equals mc squared, mc squared. Anyway, what does this mean? Energy is a probable wave. A superposition state, a potential state. Where is the particle? Nobody knows. Is it here? Where is it at? Nobody knows. That's why it's in a probable superposition state. Now, this is non-dimensional. In other words, there's no dimensions here whatsoever. There's nothing there, but it's a superposition state, a potential state, non-dimensional. Non-dimensional. That means there's no such thing as 3D here. Alright? There's no volume, there's no density, there's no spatial dimensions, x, y, and z equals length. This is height, depth, and this is width. These are your 3 dimensions right here, equals 3 dimensions. This is what makes up our physical universe. Now, here you have a superposition state, and this superposition state is also a particle, which is right here. 3 dimensions, density, volume, time, name it. All classical properties. This is energy, non-physical. This is mass. It breaks down into a non-physical state because it's energy, a wave equals a wave, equals matter, mass, which is a particle. Now, which came first? Well, you think about it, well, you have 3 dimensions here. These are classical properties. This occurred after the Big Bang. Density, expansion of the universe, expanded into 3D volume space. Here you have a probable wave, energy, a superposition state, non-physical state. In reality, though, this volume, this density, breaks down into this, a probable state. E equals mc squared. Here's your mass, which equals energy. Now, if this is non-physical and this is this, then this mass is non-physical. The particle cannot be known for the uncertainty principle. The Heisenburg uncertainty principle declares that you cannot know where the momentum or the position of the particle. You're either going to know the position or you're going to know the momentum. But you cannot know both simultaneous position and momentum of the particle. Now, if you have a wave of probabilities, a superposition state, a non-physical, this is non-physical, non-three-dimensional, okay, to be sure what it is defined as. Non-three-dimensional physical state, okay? There's no dimensions here. There's no volume. There's no density, nothing there. Now, this energy, this is energy, is also converting into a particle state, a mass. The inside of the particle, which is not actually a sphere, but let's just do that just for effects here. Inside here you have a wave of energy, which is the membrane of the particle. The wave inside the particle becomes a particle when a conscious, non-physical state collapses the wave into a particle. Conscious state. A conscious state. What is a conscious state? Now, if a conscious state, if this equals matter, a brain, intelligence, a mind, whatever you want to call it. Let's just say this is matter. A conscious equals matter, right? And matter breaks down into a wave, a probable wave. This wave, which is still matter, which is still a conscious state, right? Follow me. This wave does not exist, not physical, and this wave cannot become matter. It cannot become matter unless there's a conscious state here in the present, pre-existing before the wave. Now, this conscious state exists here and here, yet it's all the same thing. Conscious equals matter. Matter breaks down into a wave, and the wave requires a conscious state to become matter, which equals a conscious state. You see? However, you cannot have matter. You cannot have this unless the wave function collapses this wave, this probable non-physical state, by this, a conscious non-physical state. We already know that matter breaks down into a conscious state, and we also know that the non-physical requires a conscious state pre-existing prior to the wave, not for the wave function to collapse into the particle, i.e. matter. So what came first, energy or matter? Well, obviously matter requires three dimensions, three special dimensions here. Matter equals x, y, z, and time. Classical properties. Alright? Time, one dimension. And then you have length here. You have height, depth. And then you have your width. This equals three-dimensional, which equals volume and density. Right? That is your particle, mass, matter, whatever you want to call it. That's what that is. This particle, let's just say this particle requires the wave function to collapse into a particle. Here you have energy. The probable wave equals, here's your mass, mc squared. Now, this energy existed prior to the particle. Why is that so? Because energy can exist within a single point. It does not exist. It is not physical Whereas the over here, the second point, which is your first dimension, your length, which equals 2 points, you have which the length equals x. Then you create your second two sets here, which is your width. That equals z, and then you have your other set of points here, your other dimension right here, and which is your height or your depth. Here are your three special dimensions, and this equals y. This equals 3D, excluding time. You include time here, which is classical property, equals 4D, plus 1t time equals 4D for the universe. Alright? So, can a wave exist, and then once it's observed, bam, it becomes a particle. It collapses into a particle. Both this and this are actually non-physical. This particle, the physical universe that we see, everything, all the objects that we see, actually breaks down into this wave, a non-physical state. However, this physical, or I should say this non-physical state, cannot exist, this energy, because it requires a conscious state in order to collapse this into this. Without the conscious state existing prior to the probable wave, you cannot have this particle here collapsing according to Copenhagen's interpretation, Heisenburg, uncertainty principle, double slit experiments, and so on and so on. So, this is the problem now. So you could basically say in theory that you could have a probable wave existing for how long? Until it collapses into a particle, the wave function. The wave function is the collapse of a wave into particle form. But this does not occur automatically. The only way this occurs, a self-causing, a self-collapsing wave function can only occur if it's being observed. And what exists that could observe itself? Obviously, a conscious state. The non-physical presence of a non-physical entity, a conscious state, could create a self-collapse of the wave function. In other words, as long as there's an awareness which causes the collapse of the wave function, right here, the wave function collapses due to the present, the everlasting presence of non-physical awareness, i.e. a conscious state. Intelligence is understanding. It's a conscious state. It's awareness. There you have it.